Hello and welcome to the Stronghold Digital Mining Daily Update. Today is Thursday, May 25th, 2023. We did it. We are pretty much now only 2 trading days away from, at long last, coming back into full compliance with Nasdaq listing requirements. I know that's something that is easy to kind of blow off as like, oh, whatever, it's not a big deal. Well, it's not a big deal until it is a big deal and we find ourselves, with a ticker symbol that's unrecognizable perhaps from the one we have right now. From my perspective, we need to stay focused, right? One thing at a time. We need to do this, right? We need to get our stock for 10 consecutive trading days to close at a minimum bid price of at least $1 or more. And we've been doing pretty well, actually. All things considered, since the 1 for 10 reverse stock split, if you look at our stock price, all in all, we've been doing pretty darn well. Now, that being said, to be invested in Stronghold Digital Mining essentially means that you've got to kind of be bullish on Bitcoin, right? Yes, there's an argument to be made that, hey, grid prices can be really favorable sometimes, but ultimately, at the end of the day, what we're really kind of articulating through our investment, our gamble, so to speak, in Stronghold Digital Mining is a fundamental belief in the price of Bitcoin going up. And to that end, I am going to have a really quick presentation wherein I make an argument for why I believe Bitcoin can fairly quickly go back up to $60,000 per coin as measured in US dollars, and then the plausible argument for why I believe it can get to $120,000 per coin, again, priced in US dollars. I'm not going to do that in this update video, but that is a separate video that's more than likely going to either come out this evening or at some point over the weekend. I think that's a really important conversation to have, because when we look at the price of Bitcoin and let's make a couple of assumptions about potential price appreciation, and then we'll even make some assumptions as to the network hash rate, what that might look like. When we look at those numbers and then we sort of translate it back to what it means for Stronghold Digital Mining and our revenue and our potential to generate copious amounts of really, really amazing revenue, it's transformative. It really, really is transformative. I mean, I'm talking about situations where we could literally be debt-free in a couple of quarters. That's not hyperbole. That's the reality of what happens if, the proverbial stars align. We see some meaningful appreciation in the price of Bitcoin. We see some appreciation in the Bitcoin network hash rate. Let's keep it real. Let's assume that's going to go up as well. But still, if you do the math, you do the numbers, as I've done as part of this presentation, I think you're going to be very intrigued by what our potential revenue can look like. And these numbers, right? Bitcoin at 60,000, Bitcoin at 120,000. I mean, Bitcoin already has been at 60,000. That's not some esoteric, aspirational amount. Okay, we've been there before. 120,000, of course, would represent a new all-time high, but I think there are some very clear articulable reasons as to why that very well may be the case. So again, to emphasize, being long, right, being invested in Stronghold Digital Mining is in some ways really like saying, hey, I'm long Bitcoin. So I do think as we kind of now slowly but surely get to the point where this whole stock price drama is behind us, hopefully, no guarantees or promises, right? But if we're able to close at a minimum bid price of $1 a share or more tomorrow, Friday, and then again on Tuesday when markets reopen, then at long last, this will be behind us. And I do want to start focusing on what the future has the potential to look like. And I think we need to start getting excited about what that potential future could look like, because ultimately, Bitcoin is going to be really at the center of our universe, the center of our revenue universe going forward, really, in a really more robust way, provided we do start to see some appreciation in the price of Bitcoin. And as I said, I'm going to leave the details to that separate video, which will either come out later today or if not, maybe more likely over the weekend. But I think that you may find it at least somewhat thought-provoking, if nothing else. Okay, let's stay positive. Let's be great. Let's get through tomorrow, and I'll talk to you then.